Running a business can be stressful and overwhelming and time-consuming, so what happens when you kind of hit that wall and you have to keep creating content, you have to keep running your business, and you need to get things done and provide value to the people who are following you, but you're kind of running out of steam? One of the things that I found really effective is forming collaborations. That means pulling other entrepreneurs who are similar to what you do that can add value into your community, into what you're doing. Now, this could be a little bit of extra work on your part because you do have to onboard them and you have to have these conversations with them and decide how you're bringing them into what you're doing. But it also takes a ton of pressure off of you because they're coming to teach your students. They're coming to educate and to speak to your community, and it takes a lot of that weight off of you. So let me break this down for you. Now, inside of my business, a great example would be that I teach social media strategy. I teach people how to use organic traffic to grow their businesses on social platforms. I'm probably, in most cases, not going to be bringing in someone who teaches the exact same things. Now, there will be circumstances and events in which we collaborate and we reinforce each other's voices, but for the most part, my collaborative efforts are going to be just outside of the realm of what I teach. I teach organic. I would maybe bring in somebody who teaches paid social media, someone who runs ads. I would bring in an ads expert because that would benefit my students, that would benefit my followers, and is just outside of what I specialize in teaching. Now, could I teach this stuff? Yes. Do I want to teach this? No. But we can bring those people in to benefit my audience. They get their hands on my audience. My audience learns something that I don't typically teach. And if they have an affiliateship within what they're doing, I can also get a kickback when my students are then buying into their courses, their services, their whatever. Now, if you're something like a candle maker, you're probably not going to bring in another candle maker to talk to your people, but you might bring in a home decor specialist or someone who makes signs for walls or pillows or does some kind of decorative thing that's going to go along with candles. You want somebody who's going to work strongly with you, but not be the exact same thing. Now, this sounds really good, right? We bring in somebody who can facilitate what we're talking about and really benefit our audience, and that takes the work off of us because that person is teaching and you just have to show up and kind of interview style it with them. But it does mean a little bit of work for you. Keep in mind, as you're doing this, your job is going to be to facilitate this conversation. So you have to decide who you're going to bring in. You have to vet them first and make sure they're going to be a good fit. Then you have to reach out to them and invite them onto your platform, whether it's a live stream or a podcast, or it's a spot on your blog, or it's going to be in your newsletter, whatever it happens to be, or even if it's just some kind of contest or whatever. You want to make sure that you are taking the lead with this one because you're the one initiating this. So it does require a little bit of work for you, but if you have most of this stuff done beforehand, you can actually just fill in some blanks and contact them. And then you just have to make it happen. So for me, I love doing this when I get busy, when I've got a lot going on, when I want to grow my business and grow what I'm doing, but also I'm like very busy over here and I would like a little break for myself. I'll reach out to some of my friends. I'll reach out to people I've met on social media that I think would be a good fit. In fact, if you're paying attention to my channel, I've got some guests coming up soon. Why is this? One, because it's going to add benefit to you. Two, because I'm kind of diversifying what we're talking about on the YouTube channel. But three, because I want a little break from my life. I don't want to have to teach everything. I would like some of that weight to be taken off of me and given to another person that we can collaborate with so that they can benefit and I can benefit. Now, there are other types of collaborations where you're both bringing things in. If you're both doing this, that again takes half the work off of each of you. Because remember, with this, what's happening is they're bringing their knowledge, the things that they already talk about all the time, and they're offering it to your students. And you are bringing in that platform. It's half and half. Or if you're doing some type of convention, like an online live stream convention, they're bringing their knowledge, you're bringing your knowledge, but you're also both bringing your audiences. That's the cool thing about collaborations. You get to do half of the work and get twice the credit because now you're being seen by their audience and your audience, and they are being seen by your audience and their audience. So it's half the work for everyone involved and twice the benefit. Now, I don't recommend doing this all the time. We don't want your channels, your platforms to be exclusively hanging out with other people. That kind of takes away from some of your authority, so make sure it's a good mix of both, with the majority of it being on you doing the educating or you doing the conversation with people. But this is a really great way that you can build up what you're doing and take some of that weight off of yourself. We do not want to be spending all of our time doing all the things for all the people and not getting a little bit of that weight taken off of our shoulders. So collaborations are great because it's so beneficial to everyone. But like I said before, you have to be very picky about who you're bringing in. It has to be somebody that's going to add benefit to your audience, because if you're just bringing somebody in and it doesn't make sense, your audience is going to question that a little bit, and you're going to lose a little bit of credibility if you keep doing this. So you want to make sure it is streamlined with what you're doing. It has to make logical sense. So if you find someone who is a couple of steps out of the realm of what you usually do, make it make sense. If you can make it make sense for them, they're going to be fine with it, even if it's a little bit outside of what you normally do. But you have to give them that reason. You have to give them that motivation. So that's going to be on you. Now, as you're creating these collaborations, you really want to make sure that everyone's on the same page, because if the person you're bringing in does not know what's going on, that could be a problem. If you're not prepared for this, that could also be a problem. So you have to be very, very ready to jump into this, which is why I recommend getting ready in advance. The next time you have a few minutes, I highly recommend creating a template for yourself. And even if you don't have a few minutes, if you want to jump into the world of collaborations, write the email now. As you are going to be contacting this person, write it and then copy and paste it before you send it. You'll be able to use it as a template later on. So you can do it right now in the moment as you are getting your first or your next collaboration, or you can create it in advance and just have it in a file. In fact, for me, I have a lot of things. If I use things with repetition, I actually have templates. I actually offer you guys some templates, but I also save things like in the notes on my phone. So if there's something I have to do over and over and over again, whether it's answering someone on YouTube or it is sending out those calls for potential collaborations, I'll save it in a note on my phone, or I'll save it in a file somewhere so I can very easily access it, copy and paste, change a couple of things up and be specific about it, because we never do just like copy and paste things, right? We always make sure we have a little bit of personal information in there to make sure that they know we value them and their time, and we're not just copy and pasting everything. And then I can just move on with what I'm doing. And if they say yes, then we can take those next steps. And if they say no, that's okay. Now, when it comes to collaborations, you're gonna hear no, but you're also gonna hear yes. And so we wanna make sure we are spacing these out whenever possible. You can be very strategic about how you do this. So you're actually going to see iterations of this throughout my business, where I would do it live in real time, and you're going to see iterations of it like recently, where I am pre-recording these videos with people and then spacing them out as I need to or as I want to. This is actually a really cool way to have kind of backup content as well. So you can do this in advance. You can say, okay, we're filming now to air a month from now, or to air 2 months from now, depending on the topic and if it's going to be a time-sensitive thing. You can plan out on this, especially during your quiet times of business. So if you have a month that's a little bit less chaotic than usual, or maybe it's not your money-making season, do these extra things and have them ready to go. And then form this a little bit further out. Think of it like a podcast. You're gonna film those episodes early, and then over the next 90 days, you're gonna space those out, right? Just be upfront about your schedule when you get into this. You do not wanna have them on your show or on your podcast or writing something for you and then not put it out for months and months without them knowing upfront what's going to happen. Now, I do have one tip for you that I wanna share before we wrap up today, and that is that you should always be looking for potential collaborations. Even if you don't need them right now or want them right now, start tracking who you could possibly work with in the future. It could be a convention in the summer where you're doing like a 3-day live stream and you and a couple of people are going to get together and teach something. It could be something like an episode for your YouTube channel or for your podcast. It could be something like a blog post. It doesn't matter what it is. Start thinking about things that are potentially adjacent to what you're doing, and just keep a running list on your phone. That's what I do. Sometimes I'm so busy I don't have time to be doing collaborations and pulling people in for interviews and figuring out all of these different things. I don't have time for all the moving pieces, but I know when somebody could be a good fit, and I'll put them on a list. And when it comes time for me to have a quieter season when I can do these things, or when I get overwhelmed that I just need a little bit off of my plate, but I still really want to give good, valuable content and to look like I'm doing a tremendous effort for my students, I will pull out this list and think, okay, who is time sensitive here? Who's going to be the best fit right now? Who is in a season where they're going to be able to do this? And I'll go through that, and then I will start reaching out to people, and I will do it in terms of when I'm available. So if I know that I have a little bit of time and I want maybe one or two, I'll only reach out to those one or two and confirm yes or no. I'm not going to blanket email everybody and say, hey, I've got a couple of spots, would you like one of them? And then have to say, oh, actually, I'm too busy for you. Someone else replied first. I only reach out to the ones that I absolutely want right now. Then if they say no, I'll move on to the next. But I don't overbook myself or run the risk of overbooking myself, because that could be disastrous. So you definitely don't want to do that. But you do want to have that running list. You can even prioritize them or categorize them as you are creating this list. I always recommend putting their name there and what they do so that you know what topic they could talk about. And if you have more information, if you have the time to get more information, look up their website, look up their socials. I would put some way of reminding yourself who they are. So if you met them on TikTok, put their name, put their topics that they talk about, and put their TikTok handle so you can find them again, because sometimes it'll take a minute for you to get there and you'll forget who they are. That's a problem. But you want to make sure that you have all information that could be potentially relevant on that list to save yourself time and effort later. You don't want to stress yourself out trying to figure out what were they supposed to talk about and what were they going to do and where did I find them and how do I know this person and is that the right spelling of their last name? You want to make sure that you've got that there and you're ready to go. So even if it's just a quick note later on that day and you need to go back and fill in some of that information so that you have it ready to go when the time comes. I cannot say enough good things about collaborations because it brings their audience to you. It brings your audience to them. It takes half the work off of your plate and half the work off of their plate, and bonus points, if you collaborate with them on your platform, there's a decent chance they're gonna have you on their platform, which means you can take the things you already talk about a ton that you know you don't have to prep for at all and go deliver it to a new audience and get access to their audience in that way as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for you in the world of collaboration, and I do have videos on the YouTube channel about how to do this and on the Instagram channel on how to do these things and tips and tricks and all of that. But collaborations are one of the number one things I lean into heavily when I'm in a stressed time, when I'm overwhelmed, when I have so many projects I don't know what to do with myself. I lean into working with collaborations because it means less time commitment for me. I still get content created, and all I have to do is show up and smile and ask some good questions and let them do the heavy lifting on something that they do so often it's not heavy for them. Everyone benefits, everyone wins, and your audience sees that you're making this tremendous effort for them. Meanwhile, you're over here doing all the cool things behind the scenes that they'll find out about later. So if you need to decompress, if you need to take some stress off of yourself, reach out and form collaborations. Have people on, have people educating. Look for unique things that work adjacent to what you're teaching or what you're offering, or look for something that's totally out of left field that you can make connect. Now, bonus points. At this point, I talked a lot about collaborations, how these work, and how you can benefit from them. And if you do not know what to do, invite me. I'm here. I am happy to jump into your YouTube videos or your podcasts or your live streams. We can make it connect in some way. We will find a way to make it happen, and I will do my best to jump into all of yours if you want to offer a space to me. So if you need someone to collaborate, come talk to me, and if you need me to keep an eye out for you for people that might be a good fit, let me know what it is that you do. I need very specific information about who you are and what you do so that I can start looking for people who might be a good connection for you, because I am here to help facilitate this with you and make sure that you are taking some weight off of your shoulders so you can continue to run your business effectively without burning out entirely. So if this has been helpful to you, go ahead and let me know. Again, you're welcome to invite me onto your shows, your platforms. I am willing to come talk to your audience, and you are more than welcome to tell me what it is that you do so I can look for future connections for you as well. Stick around. We've got some cool business things coming up on Navigating Business. I have tons of things planned for you over the next couple of months, and I can't wait to share more behind the scenes of my business that you can steal to use inside of your business as well. I'll see you in the next episode.